Now I've had some of these tools for quite a while, and some of them, like the jointer, I've used quite a bit at one time, but then it's been quite a while since I've used it. Had to spend some time cleaning it up and getting it going. Anyway, I've got it out now, so I might as well use it. I've got to put trim around the window. On the two pieces that are going to go be the uprights to trim out the side of the window, the shingles are still going to be a little bit proud of the wall. Well, I decided I'd go ahead and put a rabbet in them to relieve them a little bit. Thought I'd go ahead and use the jointer. Well, I've got it set up for rabbeting cut now. And to do that, I moved the fence out so that it's a 1/2 inch from the cutters. What do you want there, little smoker, huh? Yeah? You don't want me to hold you. I know. Go find a mouse. Go find a mouse. I don't have anything to eat. I don't have anything to eat. Okay, that should do it. So that gives me enough clearance there on this. I'll have to chop this off here and here, for that'll go up on the wall, and that'll give me enough clearance to clear the shingles where they stand proud of it. So that was good. Well, now we'll get that cleaned up and get it out of the way. Still got a little bit of work to do on the cabin there to finish trimming out the front end of it. I'll only work on it when the weather is nice, so it only get a day or two at a time when we can get a chance to work on it. Well, I dug the table saw out. I'm going to set up and break down some of the flitches into boards that I can use. I got a whole bunch of red cedar here that can be broke down, and then a couple of yellow cedar that I want to get made into boards to use for the trim boards there on the house. Oh. Oh, those are all red cedar boards. Pretty easy to cut, pretty light and easy to handle. That's the way it works. I just got to make a good edge on each one of them like that. And then once I get one edge on them, then I can run them through the saw again and cut them down to the width that I want. I got all that red cedar edged on one edge. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to break down these yellow cedar boards. And unfortunately, my guide piece that I was using for the red cedar is 8 feet long. All the red cedar that I cut up was 8 feet, and these yellow cedar pieces are a little over 10 feet. I think what I'll do is I'll go see if I can find a chalk line someplace and snap a chalk line on that one edge that's almost clean, and then I can just run the circle saw down it, the hand saw down it, and clean that edge up good enough to run it through the table saw, run up against the table saw fence. Alright, I got the chalk line all fixed up, snapped a line along that board. I'll go ahead and take my little circle saw and cut that off, get a clean edge on it. There! Alright. That ain't perfect, but better than what I had before. on? Did you want to say hi to Grandpa? Hi, Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Oh, you. Oh, yes, you. Oh, yes, you. Yes, my girl. Oh, yes, that's my girl. I got some of those things I know with Grandpa. Oh, yeah. Well, that's all the boards trimmed up that I'm going to trim up, except for that one. That's a 2-inch plank there, about 12 inches wide. It's wider than that, actually. Well, I'm going to trim that up with a smaller size, and then I'll have to cut it to shape. I'm going to make a medallion there, trim piece that'll go up in the peak of the roof on the gable end. The boards that trim out the shingles up there will butt up against that. First thing I got to do is take the wane off of that. Oh, what a beautiful piece of wood. Oh my. I think I'm done with the table saw for a while, so I'm going to put that away. I just got the air compressor turned on and the air out. Cleaned that cabinet all out and everything, got all the dust out of it. And then because I'm putting it away for a while and it's damp here, put another coat of paste wax on the tabletop. Well, I'm going to let it set up while it's drying out. I'm going to go over to the shop and get a fire started in there. I had one in there a couple days ago, helped dry it out, but it's really damp. It can stand to have a fire in there for a couple days to get things dried out for a while. Well, maybe about time to start having a fire all the time, I don't know, but I'm not working in there right now, so I don't need it for comfort, and it's not that cold that I can't just get by with just the shirt on and stuff. But I'll go get a fire going in there and try to get, I got a whole bunch of books and papers and stuff in there I don't want to get ruined, and I almost lost them here last year with the dampness in the air, so let's get a fire going and get it dried out in there. I got the miter saw out, use it for a chop saw, and chop up all of those cut off edges and stuff and get them trimmed up to where they'll fit in the stove. Well, now I've converted a bunch of random flitches and boards into usable stuff, got it stacked up in there, and I got cut-off edges and stuff all cleaned up into kindling wood, into firewood. I need to get that put away, and then I can clean up the miter saw and put it away. Well, it rained overnight, but then it wasn't too bad for a while this morning, and I was hoping I could get out here and get some more work done on that gable end of the cabin. But my wife came home. She was supposed to go to work this morning, but when she got there, they didn't really need her, so she was going to come home. A friend of hers called and said one of the other stores in town is having a going out of business sale where they sell furniture and clothing and stuff like that. And she went, found herself a couple of real nice pair of rubber boots that she needed, good price on those, and she was looking at a pair of insulated coveralls for me. She didn't want to buy a pair and bring it home and not have it work, so she come home and got me, and we wound up going back to the store. The overalls that she wanted me to look at, that they wouldn't fit, and I did find some rain gear that would fit. And then we got to looking through the shoes, and we got a pair of Hoffmans, which are made in, I think, Kellogg, Idaho. They're a real good boot, but they're an insulated rubber bottom, leather top, and these were corked, had caulks on them for logging boot type boots. So we got a set of those for my son. He and I both got a set of extra toughs, which are, they call them Southeast sneakers here. They're what everybody wears around. They're a pull-on rubber boot, and that's what all the fishermen and local people and stuff wear around here because it's so wet and everything all the time. The quality of them has gone way down because, like every other company, they sent it over to China, start having built there, made there, and the quality went way down. But anyway, they were on sale for a pretty good price, so we grabbed a couple pair of those. And then I got to looking around there, and I found a kitchen oven range back in the back corner that was kind of an orphan. We wound up making an offer on it and got it for a really good price. The range oven that we've got in the house now is one that we bought back in about 1982 when we took over management of the airport in Sandpoint, Idaho. And we've got a house there that they furnished us, but it was unfurnished, so we had to buy furniture for the house. We bought a brand new kitchen range and oven then, and they only used it for about a year, and then it was in storage here for years and years and years, 30 years I guess almost, before I dug it out and stuck it in the cabin. Even though it didn't have a lot of use, it was showing its age. Control unit for the burners would not shut off, and I could order new control units and stuff for it, but it had rust coming through it in places and things like that. And it worked good, it baked good, stuff like that, and except for the burners not shutting off every once in a while, and I'd have to unplug it or pull the burners out, and then I'd get it to work. But aside from that, it was okay. But I got her a brand new oven range that we just got set up in the house. So anyway, that wound up taking most of the morning, and then I went down to the dock, checked the airplane, and I picked up the hose, took some cleaning up on it because the sea lions have been pulling out on my dock down there, and you can imagine how big a cow pie is. A sea lion pie is twice as bad, twice as big, or 5 times as big, or 10 times as big, and they're nasty. So anyway, I had to clean that up, got that up here and stretched out so it can drain. It's obvious that winter's coming. In fact, today it was cool enough that I had to go dig out a flannel shirt to wear instead of the broadcloth shirt that I've been wearing for the last few days. I wasn't getting wet from sweat today, but it was raining. Well, anyway, I figured I'd come out here and put the new stovepipe on the stove there and get it ready so I can build a fire in it. I've got the new stovepipe and got it just hooked up, just cleaned up around the stove and everything, so I'm just getting ready to light a fire in it now. I've had a fire going in the stove in the shop for a couple of days to dry it out, and that's working out. But anyway, that's all that's going on today. Nothing going on outside, or no more lumber. Oh, Judy did get the trim boards there that we made up for going up against the gable end. She got those painted up, so when the weather does cooperate, it's just a matter of getting those things stuck on there. Well, yesterday I was hoping I could get outside and get some work done out there on the house, cabin, to finish it up. But by the time I got a chance to get out there, it started pouring down rain, and it rained all day long. Well, it rained heavy all night, and it kind of quit early in the morning. So this morning I got up and I was going to get out and start getting stuff done. It was overcast, foggy, little drizzly, little damp in the air and whatnot, but it was workable. But by the time I got out here in the hangar and got a fire going in here, and then got a fire going in the shop, and putted around with a couple other things, it started raining again, and it just poured down rain. Oh, I figured today was a lost cause again. Well, then the rain quit. It's actually started breaking up out there. We got patches of blue sky. I got the Bobcat out. I had Judy lift me up, and I finished putting the shingles underneath the window, and then trimmed out around the window. One of the things I've got to do now is finish trimming out against the wall there up on the gable end. Judy had me cut them down to 3 inches wide. She's painted them. She just put another coat of paint on this morning because she didn't think I was going to be able to work on them. But so she's got them over in the shop now with the heat on, the wood stove in there, to see if they can't get dried out. Meanwhile, I want to put a plaque, kind of a decorative piece up there in the peak of the roof, right where the top of the shingles are. So I've got this 2-inch thick piece of yellow cedar that I cut out, and I took it up there and scribed out the angle. So we've got a flat piece up there in the center of red cedar, and then the pitch of the roof is right here. I scribed that out on here. That's the pitch of the roof, and we're determining what kind of a plaque to put up there. And at first Judy thought she might do a carving in there of our initial or something like that, and then I was kind of thinking maybe I'd do something with the laser printer burner, but I can't use it because the computer that has that program on it is crapped out, and the other computer that I'm using has just barely got enough capability to do what I'm doing with it. It doesn't have enough capability to do the laser etching and whatnot. So anyway, that's not going to work. So what we're going to do now is she's going to paint this, rose maul it, do a decorative painting like she does for the rose mauling, the Norwegian decorative painting. So I've got the plaque cut out here, and we just mirrored that image down here. This is 16 inches long, 12 inches wide, and we've mirrored the top and the bottom. And what I'm going to do, I've got 3-inch trim boards to go up there, so I'm going to notch a pocket out in this, so this will show as just a straight board here, and the trim boards are only 1 inch, so I'm just going to notch a pocket out here for the trim boards to fit in, and they'll fit in flush here, so I don't have to cut an angled cut to butt it up against it, and it won't make much difference because it'll be covered up with this anyway. So I'll get that done, I'll get this all set up, and then I'm going to put it up there on the wall on the gable end temporarily. Drill a couple holes in here and screw it up there temporarily, and then I'll put the trim pieces up on there. Then we can take this down, and then Judy can finish it off on her leisure, and we can put it up there some other time. But well, right now I've got pockets notched out here. I just went up and got my chisel, and we'll take these pull these pockets out here a little bit. Stand that up where I can see what I'm doing. There we go. So I just sharpened the chisel up a little bit. It's got some notches in here, little teeny notches where it was been abused, but right now it'll cut hair, so that's pretty good. That's better than it was the last time I used it. Well, I took that little medallion out up there stuck it in the roof, and then I got a couple of, or one of the trim pieces and started putting up there, but it started pouring down rain. It rains just like icicles out there, so I didn't want to get all the tools wet, the battery operated saw and drill and stuff like that. When they get wet, they kind of get messed up. Well, anyway, we brought it in and put it in the hangar here for a little while until it quits raining again, see if we can't get something done the next time we get an opening. Well, we got another break between rain showers, so we jumped out on the equipment, raised back up, and put those boards in that we were working on. They trim out between the overhang on the gable end and the gable end itself, and trim out the joint between that and where the shingles meet up. So we got that up there, and now we're going to go back up again, finish it off, and then take that medallion down out of the center so that Judy can paint it up once she gets a chance. We got the trim boards up there on the gable end over the shingles. I'd put this medallion up there with a couple of screws just temporarily to locate them, because I cut pockets out here for those trim boards to fit up into. Taking the medallion back down, got a split here, doesn't go all the way through, it's held together, but it's got a partial split in here, a check in here. So I just cut a dado in the back of it. This is the back side that goes against the wall. So these are what would cut off of the 2x6s for the porch project. I just took one of those and I set the depth of cut in there for the thickness of what that piece is, and made a dado in there, cleaned it out with a chisel a little bit, put some waterproof outdoor glue in there and set that down in there, and put some brads in it at an angle to hold it in, and that should keep that split, that check, from progressing any farther than it is. So we'll let this glue dry overnight, probably for a couple days, because Judy's got a big Oktoberfest, like a flea market tomorrow, with her rose mauling group puts on every year, where people can bring their crafts in and stuff and put them up for sale. well, anyway, she's going to be busy with that tomorrow, so we'll let this dry for a couple days, and then once it's all cured up, we'll trim it up and everything, then she can clean up the other side and paint it with her rose malling stuff, or whatever she wants to paint it with. I don't care. It's up to her.